The overrage that seems to be on almost every lip is side hustle. We are in an era of hustle culture where people are taking on 2, 3, 4, or much more side hustles. They are determined to squeeze more hours out of the day and more work out of themselves, surviving on very little rest and suggesting others do the same in a bid to become wealthy. Is this really a healthy way of living? How productive is hustle culture? Does the hype hold any truth or purely myth? Are side hustles really adding significant value to individuals? How do people reconcile the time spent on side hustle in their physical and mental well-being? We will endeavor to answer these questions. Welcome or welcome back to Ira Living. I'm Kenya, and today we're going to be focusing on answering the question, is the side hustle living a myth? The reality is that for centuries old, families had multiple streams of income to combat essential provisions, rain and dry cycle, in addition to their family's specialized skill pool. Over time, as families become more fractured, we find that in society, there are individuals needing to rely more on their personal strengths and skill sets. This compounded by our current financial climate and readily available material possessions and an aggrandizement of lifestyle, groups of people have become eager to find ways of funding their over-the-top living and ambition. In most countries in the global south, multiple streams of incomes were always a necessary course of life because their salary packages was not enough to meet their families' needs. People operated farms, taxi services, and other services to supplement their incomes. This has become a way for many to feel a sense of accomplishment as they chase after new money and seek to become the next millionaire. The truth is, many don't even do what they are promoting, and a good look at many of the suggested approaches will ultimately show that it won't achieve what they are marketing. There are inevitably those who have a brilliant idea and they do that alongside their salaried earning and grow their idea. For some, it brings in earnings to allow them the position of either completely leaving their salaried earning or lowering the hours of those commitments. There are also some who become millionaires from their ventures. This is usually the exception and not the norm. Not everything that glistens through social media optics is gold. Many so-called side hustle pros or experts show their chiseled schedule and their ultra-packed portfolio and then talk about their income. If you spend the time to notice, they are making more from telling others about how they were able to use their side hustle to build their empire than they do for any of their showcased side hustles. Is side hustles in and of themselves a bad thing? Absolutely not. Side hustles have their significance in our society now as it did many centuries ago. They are for supplementing earning and as such shouldn't take up huge chunks of time or be too demanding if it is to run for a long period. Alternatively, they can be short-term schemes that are used to get something in the short term that could not be otherwise afforded, like pay for a holiday, buy a car, some other project that requires additional source of earnings where savings are not available. It can also be used to clear debt and build emergency funds. Additionally, there are the hobbies or visions and ambitions that people have that they craft whilst they're surviving. This gives people the opportunity to slowly, gradually, and at a fixed date, free themselves from their salaried jobs. The reality is, excessive hustle over long periods cause burnout and can make people physically and mentally unwell. If the hustle is a service provided, it is most likely to take several hours, and as we cannot duplicate ourselves, it will always have limitations. These limitations leave individuals disappointed and frustrated because they didn't achieve what they were sold. To have side hustles that add significant value, people work on their product or build an investment portfolio where they are continuously reinvesting until they have amassed a large enough portfolio to either reduce their working hours or give up their 9-to-5 altogether and live from the proceeds from their investment. And I wouldn't consider this to be a side hustle. Instead, it would be them creating streams of income, which is very different to what a side hustle is. Instead of starting a side hustle, consider something that you're passionate about or that you're passionate at. See what problems it solves for others. What is the possibility of scaling it into an actual stream of income? In so doing, you'll be able to retire yourself from your 9-to-5 altogether. Work on implementing it and building it out. Give yourself a timeline in which you will get this done so that you are not putting too much strain on yourself to be able to acquire something before the time for it to be, and then not be able to live long enough or be healthy enough to enjoy it. Remember, financial literacy is revolutionary. It has transformed my life, and I believe that it can do the same to yours.